Hello everybody out there, this is Mike Rogers the channel, doing my first movie review on Superman 2. I tried to record this last night but my mic went funny, so hopefully I'll be as good as I was yesterday. Well, Superman 2, one of my favourite movies of all times. I think I saw it at the cinema when I was about 7, in about 1980. My dad took me. It was supposed to be a double feature with Superman the movie, but it wasn't for some reason. My mum used to work next door in the bingo place, and we went over to see her, and then we found out it was only Superman 2, but that was fine. I watched it and I thought it was one of the best Superman movies of all time, and now I would say it was probably the best Superman movie of all time. Broad, loud statement, a high statement, yeah, but we've got all the ingredients there. I know Marlon Brando's not in it, but he was in Superman 1, and he disagreed with the Salkins about money payment. He sued them, he got his money, and therefore was cut out of Superman 2, which I suppose is fine. But he wanted his money and they didn't pay him because they thought he'd paid him enough, but he's supposed to have a percentage of the profits of all the movies. So they cut him out and replaced him with Sarah York, an English actress playing Superman's mummy. And to be honest, at the time it meant nothing to me, and I couldn't have cared less, because Superman the movie, yeah, they rate it, but it's boring in places. Superman the movie. We have the bit on Krypton, which is quite good, and then it sort of drags into Smallville. It looks pretty, but it's still boring. It gets better once we're into Metropolis, when we finally meet Clark Kent and he turns into Superman proper and saves Lois Lane from the top of the building. I really like that bit. That's one of my favourite parts of that movie, because even with all the CGI of today and everything, that still is brilliant, where he runs up and says excuse me to the pimp and then flies up and catches Lois Lane and then just catches the helicopter. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, the Superman Returns thing tried to do it with the airplane that sort of crashes and that was okay, but it still wasn't as good as the bit in there where Christopher Reeve as Superman catches Lois Lane and then catches the helicopter. But that was probably the best bit of Superman. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about Superman 2, but they're probably two halves of the same movie, or they're supposed to be. So, whatever, I don't care. I talk about what I want. It's my blog, whatever you call it. Review is my review. Anyway, Superman 2. So, Richard Donner got fired. He was supposed to direct both movies back to back. He had a big row with Pierce Spengler, who was the Salkins boy toy, and was then, it was said it's me or him. Spengler was the producer of the movies, and he got pushed, and they brought Richard Lester in, who directed Hard Day's Night for the Beatles, Help for the Beatles, and The Running, Jumping, Standing Still Man or something for Spike Milligan, which was interesting to say the least. Hard Day's Night's a good movie, but Help's a bit crap, to be honest. I mean, the songs are always good, but the movie itself... but anyway, we'll probably talk about that another day if you can stomach it. Anyway, Superman 2. Well, we've got all our characters established. We've got Gene Hackman returning, obviously Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, who seems to be suffering from a massive drug problem in this movie. They'd already filmed bits beforehand of Superman 2, and when they sort of crossed between those two scenes, you see how different Margot Kidder was. She looked so sort of energetic and that from the bits she filmed for Superman 1, but when we get to Superman 2 and the actual filming Lester did, she was a big advocate for Richard Donner, a big fan of Donner, so she wasn't giving her all, and she obviously had the huts. That's why she was relegated in Superman 3 to a bit part. I think they punished her by giving her hardly any role and leaving it to Annette O'Toole, who I think is probably better looking, but I still like Margot Kidder. She's a fairly good actress, but anyway, in this she looks like she's drugged up to the nines, and looks like she's got a wig on at points, but she's lost so much weight. I mean, when you watch her in the Amityville Horror and Black Christmas, I mean, two films that are fairly close in time, for her. She's quite good in it. She's vibrant in those, and she's got energy. And I know she went whack-a-dog in the 90s and had to be sort of locked up for a while, but she sort of recovered that as well. But no, in this, I think that's one of the drawbacks, because she's smoking all the time and doing the orange juice thing, but she just looks really ill. She looks really skinny and gaunt. But anyway, still a good performance. Christopher Reeve, well, this is his crowning glory, really. He gets to be Superman all the way through. He really should have been top billed in this. I know Gene Hackman's in there, and but Gene Hackman is really just doing all his bits from Superman, because Superman the movie, because he didn't come back for Superman 2. Also a massive Richard Donner supporter. He wouldn't come back, so they used body doubles and voice thingies to complete his role in this, which was good, because I didn't notice when I was 8 and made no difference to me. Then we get to the supervillains who were introduced and come up in this story. We have Terence Stamp. I mean, God, this is a great actor, isn't it? The great English Terence Stamp. Even though he's done loads of other stuff and he's a great actor, I will always think of him as General Zod. I know he's done the voice of Jor-El in Smallville, or he did do it, but for me, he is General Zod. Brilliant, camp, but brutal as well. Strong, you know, the Shakespearean vibe coming through. Great English actor. Sarah Douglas as the number 2 lady, very good, yeah, attractive, in a sort of harsh, stern way. Hater of men, I think. But she's good. She was in V later on, died in that. Good English actress. Was the only one who went on to be went on to promote the movie madly, because she's still gone with everyone on the film. So she went around and did all the publicity for it, and yeah, no, I liked. She did it well. I mean, so she didn't have much to do in it, really. Even though I noticed the big mistake where they land on Earth, the 3 supervillains, and Terence Stamp does his walking on water and that. But then she's bitten by a snake. How can a Kryptonian come into Earth, be bitten by a snake and go ow, and then burn it with the eye vision? They can't. A snake's teeth would be broken, wouldn't they, from biting a super person? I think I didn't know. It wasn't many years after it. I noticed that. You see, so she bit the snake. Bit her. She threw it down and burnt it with her supervision. And if you say her powers hadn't developed yet, don't give me that, because she was flying around in space and she was all right there. So no. She had her superpowers intact. So the snake would have broke its tooth. See, there's a continuity error. I don't think anyone else has noticed but me, because I'm so clever. Anyway, she's quite good and looks okay in her black gear, bondage outfit. Jack O'Halloran as the dummy, the non, waste of time, just muscle. He's alright for a bloke who can't speak. The big dummy, yeah, very forgettable. He's alright for the kids. I suppose the kids found him funny, but I didn't really, though. He didn't really register with me at the time. He hit Superman a few times. Anyway, we have the big story of Superman losing his powers, or giving them up for the woman he loves. Yeah, right. Who's going to do that? But anyway, so he goes to see his mother, not his father, when he slips over on the rug and has to reveal himself. Not in that way, but he reveals himself to Lois Lane, finally, as Superman. And of course, he wants to shag her, so he can't do it with his superpowers, or he might, damage her in some way. Think of a bullet out of a gun in a human. I'm assuming that happens with the old physiognomy who misses. So he has to go to the super crystal to get some, where his mum says don't do it, and he says shut up, mum. So his powers are removed. He gets his shag. I'd have got 3 or 4 more if I was you, Clarky Superman, because you're never going to get another chance. But anyway, so then the palace blows up, and Fortress of Solitude blows. Hopefully Lois does too. No, sorry. And they come back to Metropolis in a car, which they didn't have. Then, of course, the aliens have all landed by now, the Kryptonians, General Zod and his buddies, and they've killed a load of little hicks, and Sheriff W. Pepper's been attacked and that and runs away cowardly from the two Bond movies, Live and Let Die and Golden Gun. He pops up again, the same actor, same character basically, and they show their powers, which is quite a good scene. I like what they do there. I think Richard Lester's okay. I think him and Donner fit together fine. You wouldn't know it was two different directors. I don't think so. I don't notice a change in tone. I mean, other people have said Hackman works well in this movie as a comedy, but of course it was all filmed before Lester took over the filming, so that's a load of rubbish, isn't it? Anyway, so Gene Hackman, all the while as Lex Luthor, has escaped from jail, leaving Otis behind, Billy Bunter, fat boy. Gone off with Miss Tess Maca, who looks fairly sexy, but then even she didn't really register. They go to the Fortress of Solitude before Superman loses his powers and reveal the supervillains are revealed, which is highly convenient because they're just about to pop in. So that's all good, but then it's comic book, isn't it? Don't take it seriously, peeps. It's a bit of a lie if you take it for what it is. It's still quite deep, but it's bloody good. It's probably one of the best superhero movies of all time. It's right up there, definitely. I mean, I rate Superman 3 as well. I know no one likes Superman 3, but I still think it looks good, and I like it where it goes bad. I mean, Christopher Reeve was a great actor with a lot of range. I mean, he did that kiss with Michael Caine, which sort of in Death Trap, which sort of scarred me a bit because I don't care about gay kisses, but he's Superman, and whether he's gay or not, it doesn't really matter. He's just like an icon that shouldn't be doing. I mean, he shouldn't even be kissing women, to be honest. He should just be this paragon of greatness, which they've lost with Man of Steel and even Superman Returns. He wasn't. I mean, Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman, which is the biggest load of crap ever, he's so depressed. His suit's dark. He might as well be bad Superman for Superman 3. He's so depressed throughout, and I don't like Henry Cavill's. Doesn't look anything like Superman as far as I'm concerned. Christopher Reeve for me is definitive, and I know he had his accident, but whatever, that happened, that's life. Poor bugger, he died, and all the love in the world to him and his family, but as Superman he was definitive for me. And you notice he changes size, he gets a bit bigger throughout, where they bulked him up, and that David Prowse did that, Darth Vader's body. Anyway, so he loses his powers. General Zod lands, takes over the White House. That's quite good, the brutal bit where they take over the White House and they get the man from Creepshow who had the bugs coming out of him playing the president. E.G. Marshall, is that his name? Yeah, he's got a really horrible wig on his head to make him look a bit Ronald Reagan, I assume. But I always remember him as the crazy clean freak in Creepshow who gets all the cockroaches that come out of him. I thought that was brilliant. I'll probably do that one day. Creepshow, one of my favourite movies as well. But anyway, Superman gets beaten up by the bully in, he's Clark now, or Kal-El, whatever you want. He gets beaten up in the calf by the bully, and then they see that Zod's landed and taken over the world, which makes him very bored. So Superman wants to get a quick shagging with Lois Lane before he has to go back to the fortress again. And originally, of course, Richard Donner filmed all the Marlon Brando dovetailing that, but of course they now removed Brando, and they don't even bring Sarah York back for this. They just have the green crystal come back to life, which was basically kryptonite. No, they put the green crystal on, and comes back to life, and he gets his powers back. And then we go to Metropolis for the massive fight, which is brilliant. I know there's lots of special effects here that are a bit ropey now, but I think it stands up still. The thing where he throws the thing, it's all front projection, he throws that big concrete block at Superman, and Superman fires his lasers out and blows it up. And I prefer this where he says, would you care to step outside, over the, have you ever heard of freedom of the press, which was in the Donner version. I didn't like that. I prefer, would you care to step outside, much better. So they have a big fight. And I love the bit where they're blowing the cars up. I even like the blowing bit where they blow everyone over and there's blokes on the comedy. It made me laugh. I thought it was great at the time. And I like it where Superman uses super breath to blow the tank out, the petrol tanker out when Zod's doing the lasers on it to try and blow it up. That's all brilliant to me. I think that's classic. And of course it all smashes the sea up. They have a great fight. And then of course Superman realises he's got to draw him away. They all think he's a coward, Zod and his mates, but they don't. They follow him to the. They take Lois and Lex Luthor with them, obviously, because they're the stars. They've got to be there at the denouement, the ending. So they go to the Fortress Solitude where the lights have been switched back on. He's put some money in the meter, and they have a little tussle in there, which is good. But they change, which is better than the Donner version, because they don't really do much in the Donner version. They don't really have much of a tussle. He in this version, they actually do the where he disappears and they fight and they say they're going to tear Lois apart. He throws the big S out of his chest, which I like. I think that's, you might think it's corny, but I like it. I think it's brilliant. And of course, he gets Lex Luthor to convince Zod and his buddies that if he goes in the crystal, he'll lose his powers again. And of course, it's a reverse. He goes into the chamber and the lights go red outside, and Lois looks a bit puzzled for all her drug-addled ecstasy. And he comes out and Zod says finally and kneels him, you take the hand, bow to Zod. And Superman crushes his hand and throws him off. And of course he's reversed it and they lose all their powers. What a good bit of planning. See, Superman's just not tough, he's clever as well. So they do all that, and Lois gets to punch Ursa in the mouth for being so horrible to her, and that's good. She gives a sort of orgasmic as she falls down the hole. Non tries to fly and falls down the hole. I don't know what happens to him, but I think in extended versions on TV all around the world or something, they show him getting taken to jail. I think Lex obviously is going back to jail. And then, of course, we have the bit that everyone moans about, the magic kiss, where Lois Lane remembers originally he was supposed to turn the world back in time, like what happened at the end of the first movie, but because we'd used that we couldn't do it, so we have the magic kiss. And I'd rather have the magic kiss, because the world turning was a load of rubbish, but it's alright. But we don't need the supervillains put back into the Phantom Zone again, do we? No, we don't need them put back into the Phantom Zone. We need a sort of conclusion, which I think is better. So therefore, he gives her the magic kiss, she forgets, and he flies off, go to the White House, and there's that brilliant bit at the end where Christopher Reeve flies off into the sunset like he did in the first film. And, I just want to say, like, this was one of my favourite movies growing up next to Star Wars, the usual fare for a young lad. And I love Superman 2. I'll give it a 10 out of 10. It's the best of the Soul-Kind Superman films by far. I love all the stuff in Paris, even though that was an added bit because they were filming in London, so they could do a little hop over to Paris to do it, where Superman saves her and throws the bomb into space that lets the villains out in the first place. And you've got all those famous English actors like Richard Griffiths and the bloke who played one of Jeeves and Wooster's psychiatrist type fellows in Jeeves and Wooster with Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry. He was in loads of stuff, Only Fools and Horses, but I suppose anyone would have seen him. But they play a couple of terrorists, modern, and that Superman changeover, that's all Leicester as well, where at the beginning where he runs down the alley and he changes, I think that's the best transformation into Superman, and they do a bit of that in 3, but this is brilliant. That change where he's running down the alley is perfect, and that's all Leicester. So got to give the guy kudos. I don't care if you think he's camp or fun, but the effects were brilliant in this film. I think for 1980, brilliant. He's saving the girl, the woman with the baby and all that. It looks fine. I mean, some of it's a bit hokey with a little flapping thing where it's like a model, but no, I think it's brilliant. And of course, Christopher Reeve, really, I know they know, but he was brilliant. He played Clark Kent as the Bumbler, and Kal-El as Kal-El, and Superman as Superman. They're all like, Superman is a part he's playing, and Clark is a part he's playing. He can only be himself when he's on his own, really. When he's like, he can never be himself because he's always playing these two parts, the virtuous superhero and the bumbling idiot. So he can only ever be himself when he's by himself, which is weird. He gets a little... I like the Niagara Falls stuff as well. I like the saving the little kid, and the reveal and the fake finding out, Lois finding out. I think that's all brilliant in this film. You really do owe yourself a treat, peeps, if you're young and you've never seen Superman 2. Get your mum or dad to dig out the DVD VHS closet, whatever, or put it on some download somewhere, because It's brilliant, kids. You need to watch it. I highly recommend it. I give it a 10 out of 10. Christopher Reeve is Superman. He's the best actor to ever play it. Henry Cavill doesn't come close. Brendan Routh is trying to copy, but still nowhere near. He's better as Ray in the Legends thing, where he plays the Atom or whatever it is. He is far better as Superman is only Christopher Reeve for me, and he always will be. I like him in those first. I don't even mind the fourth film. I mean, I know it's hokey and the effects are a lot worse and all that, but Superman 2 is brilliant. I mean, Terence Stamp is perfect. Gene Hackman's good in this. I mean, I think they need to get the Lester and Donner cuts, and they maybe put them together. I mean, Superman 2 I still like it as a Lester movie, but they could bring Marlon Brando back and put it all in. You can make your own edit of it, where they take Sarah York out, or whatever her name is, and bung Marlon Brando back in, because I quite like Marlon doing his cod Shakespeare English type of accent, because I mean he was supposed to be he was a good actor, yeah, overrated probably, but a good actor. So yes, brilliant. Superman 2. I hope you like this. Tell me if you don't. I want your opinions. Please let it. We'll have an argument down here, and hopefully this will be the first of many movie reviews and program reviews that I will do. I did a few commentaries if you're interested on my channel here on YouTube, but if you're not, never mind. I've moved to reviews because I think people prefer chunks of information rather than someone going sometimes through movies, So I moved over to reviews. Well, hopefully you like the review. Give me some likes, comment down below, and hopefully we'll go on with another review very soon. That was my Superman 2 review. Absolutely brilliant. My dad took me to the cinema in Maidstone. I had a hot dog, the old cinema hot dogs, and in the old cinema in Maidstone where I used to live, and the ABC next to the bingo, and it was magical days for me. Loved it. Oh, brings back memories every time. I'm going all gooey. Anyway, 10 out of 10 for Superman 2. That's my review, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye for now.